In this video demonstration, I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful card using the new JND448 oval band. And I'm showing two cards here. This is the one we're going to make. But the waste, if you're careful, from the first card will make you the second card. And the difference with this belly band is rather than it being just a band, you have dies for top and bottom that will actually allow you to offset it or set it into a piece of card and create mats and layers for it really simply. So from a very small die set, you can make a really big project. And this is great for sort of putting a sentiment or adding a little bit of interest to your cards using your embossing folders, your stamps, your backgrounds, or when you're using your frame it dies or your frame maker dies as you've got something to put in the center of the frame, again, just to simplify your cards. So this is the card we're going to make, and I'm going to take you through the die set. So this is the JND448 oval band. So you get the belly band, you get the panel to go in the middle and the sentiment, which is sent with love. You then get a strip die to cut either side to give you the perfect mats and layers. And these have all got that beautiful sort of stitch dot detail on them. You get two sets of flowers, and these are mini marigolds. So these work exactly with dies that you've already got in your stash from the John Next Door collection. Then you have two sort of like slightly bulbous dies, which will cut you out beautiful panels to fit in. Then you have two stitch dots or stitch dies to fit within that section there to give you that beautiful build-up. So as we can see here, you've got those sort of like oversized almost yellow, and then the bright yellow in there and the flowers decorating it. But very simple to do. So I've started, and I've got a piece of card here cut to 5.5 by 5.5 inches. And this has just been embossed with the Poppies embossing folder from Presscut. Beautiful embossing folder. But obviously putting that just onto a card like that is a little plain. So we want to make it a little bit more interesting. So I've got here a piece of coconut white, and this is just a scrap cut off the edge of a 5 3/4 piece. We simply put down our belly band die, tape it down, and we cut that out. And I am just going to run that through so that you can actually see how that cuts. And it's a very, very simple die to cut. So we'll take our plates to it and we'll simply run that through. And we get then the beautiful shape. And unlike other belly bands, it doesn't carry on at the sides, it cuts. It's designed to fit within the frames or fit your beautiful panels, so it's a lot easier than having to trim it off. Whereas if you want to extend it, you can using the other dies in the set. So we'll take that, and what I want to do now is to pop that onto a little bit of the lighter yellow, and this is the Spring Yellow from the Craft Artist Essential card. And I've got a piece here that's been cut down again to just 5.5 inches. So I'm just going to pop my die on and add a little bit of tape just to keep it in place, keeping it all nice and straight. I can then take the matching strip, and these are both the same, so there's not a left and a right. It's really easy to do. So we will pop those on. And with the Craft Artist tape, it doesn't matter if you go over and cut the tape, it won't mark the card at all. And we would run that through and cut that. And that will give us this beautiful piece. We'll take the white piece out. So that will give us this beautiful mat for it just there. So you can see there. And what I've done is I've left this a little bit shorter so that I can trim the belly band up so it goes exactly in the right place. We simply then take the piece of Sunshine Yellow, and again we can match this together. So we match this together in the same place, and we can then take our edges and again mat those on nice and centrally. So I know the points I want to put them on at. So I'm using 2 lines on my board to get that nice and central. We'll then run that through and cut that panel so we get that beautiful double colour. We'll then take a piece of white and repeat the process. So again, we'll take that, we'll put it down, and we will again use that as a guide to cut a larger panel again. So again, pop that down, and we'll simply take that away, run that through our machine, and that will give us our final panel. And of course, what we then do, we use the waste pieces to build up this here. So you can see here, I've used the waste pieces to build it up. Very simple. So here I have my white, here I have my yellow. So I'm just going to stick that on, making sure I match the edges and get the pattern in the right place. And it's always better to leave it a little bit long. It's easier to trim down afterwards. So again, a little bit of foam tape, and then I'm going to add my light yellow onto that. And then finally, I take my white and just add one strip of foam tape to the back of that. And that will give me the next sort of final layer on it. So we position that in. And then we simply take our background we want to decorate. Here I'm using the piece that's been made with the poppies embossing folder. Again, I'm using foam tape to get lots of sort of drama onto this project. And I'm using my mat as a guide. There we go. We simply stick that down in the center. You could then turn over the card, and from the rear, trim down any excess, meaning we have that beautiful, simple section just there. So now we need to pop our sentiment on. And again, very, very simple. So I take a piece of white card and I take the sentiment die and the plain oval die, piece of tape, pick that up, get that nice and in the center. And we simply run that through. So I'm going to trim that off, and I'm going to run that through, and I want to show you how easily, again, this one cuts. So we'll bring our machine in. And we'll run that one through. I'm using my Kaleido, so I've missed a little bit there. So we'll run that back through. I think I left some pieces in my die. There we go. And there we get our sentiment showing, sent with love. We would simply then take the outer die and cut that from the lighter yellow and match the two together to give us the beautiful sentiment. And you can see the detail on here echoes the sort of stitch dot detail around that shape there. So now I'm simply going to add a little bit of glue to the back of here, and I've taken a 7x7 card and I've matted and layered it with white card at 5 3/4, 5 7/8 and 6 inches, just to echo the mats and layers there. And then I've cut out the dies in the matching colours. So I've cut out some here in the yellow, some in the spring yellow, and some in the beautiful white as well. So I'm simply going to take those and use my glue glaze and add a few little dots of colour on and add my flowers. Make sure they're stuck down properly. So I've got 3 little flowers there. We'll have 1, 2, 3 little flowers there. So this time I'm going to pick up one of the little white flowers. And the little white flowers I've cut from the other die set. So I've got that little tumbling. Actually, I think I need another little flower there, just to balance it up, and we'll have a final one there. So just decorating out however you feel is the best way for you. There we go. And to finish off, just a few simple white craft artist pearls in the centre of the flowers. And I really think putting something into the centre of your flowers really makes your project pop. It really makes your flowers sort of stand out more against the card. If you see this side, stands out a lot more than the other side without those. The flowers seem to sort of come alive once we put a centre into them. There we go. And there we have, very simply finished, a beautiful embossed card, but with the belly band, we've really finished it off.